Have you ever reached into your pocket, pulled out a quarter, and thought, hey, I wonder if this thing's worth more than just 25 cents? Well, let me tell you, the answer might surprise you. Because today, we're talking about the 2006 South Dakota quarter, a coin that could be sitting in your pocket right now, waiting to make you a cool $2.2 million. Yep, you heard me right. We're talking about a quarter that's worth more than most houses in some parts of the country. Stick around because this coin story is way crazier than you think. I know what you're probably thinking. Yeah, right, this guy's just hyping things up. But let me tell you, this quarter is the real deal. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive in. Now, the 2006 South Dakota quarter might seem like any other quarter at first glance. It was minted as part of the 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. The goal was to honor each of the 50 states with its own unique quarter design. South Dakota's quarter features Mount Rushmore, that iconic granite sculpture of 4 U.S. presidents carved into the Black Hills. But here's where the story gets interesting. The 2006 South Dakota quarter is an example of what we call a variety coin. It's not just your run-of-the-mill quarter, this one's a little different. And it's this uniqueness that makes it so valuable. First, let's talk about the mint mark. Most quarters that came out of the Denver Mint in 2006 have that small D marked on the front, right under the date. It's a simple letter, but it tells you something huge. It means the coin was minted in Denver, and it's the key to identifying a potential rarity. And if you've been collecting coins for a while, you know how important those mint marks can be. There's a rare variety of this coin that has an error in the design. We're talking about a flaw where the engraving on the reverse side of the coin, the side with the eagle and the shield, isn't quite right. Maybe the die that stamped it was worn, or there was a mistake when it was struck, but that little imperfection makes this coin incredibly sought after by collectors. This is the one that can fetch you a whopping $2.2 million on the market. Sounds insane, right? But it's true. This coin is a treasure, and there are people out there willing to pay big bucks to get their hands on one. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, how do I spot one of these million-dollar quarters? Well, it's not easy. First, the condition of the coin is critical. A worn-out quarter won't make you a fortune, no matter how rare the error. The key is to find one in good to excellent condition, ideally uncirculated. If it's still shiny and new-looking, you're in business. Second, look for that distinctive error. It's a bit like finding a needle in a haystack, but when you spot one of these imperfections, it's like finding a hidden gem. And as with any rare coin, the more people who are after it, the higher the price climbs. And if you're wondering whether this coin is sitting in your pocket right now, here's the thing. Most people have no idea what they're holding. Think about it. How many times have you thrown a quarter into a jar, a wallet, or the car's center console without a second thought? You're probably sitting on potential gold mines and you don't even know it. Let me share a personal story. A few years back, I was at a garage sale and I spotted a box of old coins. I dug through it for a while, half expecting to find nothing but junk. But then there it was, a 2006 South Dakota quarter with an interesting mark on it. I wasn't sure if it was a rare variety, but I picked it up and tossed it in my collection pile anyway. A couple of months later, I showed it to a friend who's been collecting coins for decades. He took one look at it and said, "You've got to be kidding me, this could be worth thousands." Turns out my random garage sale find was worth a small fortune. It's crazy how the most unlikely places can turn up these valuable treasures, right? If you're serious about collecting, you need to pay attention to the small details. That quarter you casually toss in your pocket might be worth a lot more than you think. But you've got to be diligent, check for those little errors, look for that pristine condition, and don't assume every coin is just a coin. Your 2006 South Dakota quarter might not look like much at first glance, but it could be worth $2.2 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, that's the world of coin collecting for you. It's all about knowing what to look for, being patient, and most importantly, being a little bit lucky. Now, before you go digging through every quarter in your change jar, here's a little reminder. Not every coin is going to be worth a fortune. But it's the thrill of the hunt that makes coin collecting so exciting. And who knows, maybe your next find will be a jackpot. So, if you want more tips on coins worth money, strategies for building your collection, and ways to spot hidden treasures in your pocket change, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on future videos where I break down other rare coins that could make you a fortune. Thanks for tuning in and happy hunting. Until next time, may your pockets always be full of valuable coins and your collection growing. Don't forget to subscribe because the next big coin could be sitting in your pocket right now. Alright, guys, gather round because I've got a coin story that might just blow your mind, especially if you've ever tossed a quarter into a vending machine or used one to make change at the store. You're probably thinking, yeah, it's just a quarter. Well, what if I told you there's a quarter out there, specifically the 2014 Great Smoky Mountains quarter, that could be worth, hold onto your hats, $2.30 million. I know, crazy, right? But before you rush to your piggy bank and start scanning through all your quarters, let's dive into why this quarter is worth so much and what you can do to make sure you're not leaving money on the table. Stick around because I'm going to break it down for you, and I've got a hilarious personal story to share about my own coin hunting adventures. So let's talk about this 2014 Great Smoky Mountains quarter. First off, why is this specific coin even worth anything more than face value? Well, it all comes down to a few things: rarity, condition, and collector demand. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park quarter was released as part of the 2010 to 2020 America the Beautiful Quarters program. These quarters are minted to honor national parks and sites across the country, and the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, sitting right on the border between North Carolina and Tennessee, was chosen as one of the parks to be featured. Now, here's where things get interesting. The P mint mark indicates that this particular quarter was minted in Philadelphia. That's right, Philadelphia, not Denver or San Francisco. And while most 2014 Great Smoky Mountains quarters might just go about their everyday lives in your coin jar, some of them have a unique feature that makes them incredibly valuable. That feature? A minting error. See, when the US Mint releases coins, not everyone is perfect. Some have tiny flaws or inconsistencies, and these can actually make them worth a lot more than their face value. The 2014 Great Smoky Mountains quarter, in particular, has been known to have a variety of minting errors, including off-center strikes and other minor imperfections. When you find one of these rare error coins in exceptional condition, it can easily skyrocket in value. For the lucky few, a single coin could go for as much as $2.3 million at auction. Well, that's where the strategy comes in. You don't just stumble upon these coins by accident unless you're really, really lucky. It takes a little know-how and a lot of patience. I remember one time I was going through my change and found a 2014 quarter. It looked pretty normal at first glance, but I decided to do a double check. And let me tell you, that quarter gave me quite the scare. I thought for a second I might have hit the jackpot, but alas, it was just a regular one. But here's the thing. Looking for valuable coins is kind of like being a treasure hunter. It's all about keeping your eyes peeled and knowing what to look for. If you happen to find one of these 2014 quarters with a minting error, you might be holding something worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions. Sounds like the dream, right? Now, in case you're wondering, finding one of these isn't impossible. The key is to start checking your quarters, especially those that were minted in 2014. The Great Smoky Mountains design was popular with collectors, so there are plenty of them floating around. But remember, you're looking for the rare ones with the minting errors, off-center strikes, doubling of features, or other flaws. Another tip I've got for you is don't just look through pocket change. A lot of valuable coins come from uncirculated rolls, so you might want to consider getting your hands on some rolls of 2014 quarters from the bank. Sometimes they're even willing to give you uncirculated rolls of coins for a small fee. That way, you get to go through fresh coins and have a shot at finding that million-dollar piece of history. But hey, while I'm talking about this, I have to share one funny thing that happened to me a while back. I was so sure that I found a rare 2014 quarter with an error. I started imagining all the cool things I could do with the $2.3 million: buy a beach house, a sports car, maybe even get a pet llama. Don't judge, llamas are cool. So I rushed over to my local coin dealer, totally convinced that I had struck it rich. Turns out my excitement was premature. The error was just a little smudge of dirt on the coin. But here's the thing, that experience taught me something important. It's not just about the hunt, it's about enjoying the journey. And honestly, even though I didn't find the $1 million quarter that day, I had a blast going through my collection and learning more about coins. It's like a little adventure every time you flip through your quarters or visit a coindealer.so. To wrap it up, the 2014 P Great Smoky Mountains quarter is a prime example of how a small coin can hold a huge value. If you happen to find one of these with a minting error in great condition, you could be holding onto a $2.3 million treasure. And don't forget, the hunt is half the fun. Now, I know you're probably itching to go through your own collection or run to the bank for some uncirculated rolls. And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll find something even more valuable than this. But if you're serious about discovering coins worth money and learning more coin collecting strategies, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips, stories, and coin hunting tricks coming your way. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Hey there, coin lovers. Ever think a pocket change coin could make you a millionaire? Well, you're in for a treat today because we're talking about the 2016 D. Harper's Ferry quarter. No, this isn't some kind of lottery scratcher, it's a real coin, and get this, it could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.40 million. But before you start diving into your old piggy bank or heading to the coin jar in your kitchen, let me hit you with a little story. Just last year, I was rummaging through my own coin collection. This was during the pandemic when I decided to finally clean out my drawers. Yes, this is what we do when we can't go out to bars anymore. And what do you know? I found a quarter that made me do a double take. It wasn't the Harper's Ferry quarter, but it sure got me thinking about how easy it is to miss a $1 million coin hiding in plain sight. So let's talk about this 2016 D beauty that could turn your collection into a small fortune. Stick around until the end because I've got some tips on how to spot these coins, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's break this down. You've probably heard of the Harper's Ferry quarter before, right? But did you know that a particular 2016 D version of this coin is making waves in the coin community? You might be thinking, what makes this quarter worth $2.4 million? Well, let me tell you, it's all about rarity and a little bit of history. Harper's Ferry is part of the America the Beautiful Quarter series, which features national parks and landmarks. The coin features the Harper's Ferry National Historical Park, a site located in West Virginia. It's not just about pretty designs though. What makes this coin special is an error that occurred during production. Some of these 2016 D quarters came out of the mint with slight but noticeable imperfections, small details in the design, particularly around the words and the images, which make them rare. Now, you might think, why don't I just get a bunch of quarters from 2016 D and check them all out? Well, it's not that simple. The key to this quarter's value is the condition and the exact type of error, which means most of them aren't worth millions. But that one in 1,000 that's in pristine condition with the perfect imperfections? That's the one that could put you on the map. Let me back up a little and give you some context here. Coins like this don't just pop up every day. In fact, most coins we find in our pockets are worth face value, or maybe a little less if they've been beaten up a bit. But coins with rare errors, especially ones like this 2016 D. Harper's Ferry quarter, can shoot up in value fast. Just like my story with the coin collection I mentioned earlier. You know that moment when you find something hidden at the bottom of a drawer and it's like a treasure hunt? That's how it feels when you come across one of these rare coins. I'll be honest, when I first heard about this particular coin being worth millions, I thought it was a hoax. But then I did some digging. Don't worry, I didn't lose my lunch when I saw the value. I was hooked. People were posting these finds online, showing off how they managed to uncover something that's worth more than their entire car. And the crazy part? These coins are still out there. A good number of people don't even know they have one of these bad boys lying around. So now you might be wondering, how do you spot one of these? Well, first, you want to make sure it's from 2016 with a D mint mark, because that's the one that has the higher chances of being valuable. But it's not just about the date. It's about the details like the die error I mentioned before. You want to check for things like smudged lettering, blurry images, or any oddities in the design. These are the things that can set a quarter apart from being a regular coin to being one that's worth millions. And hey, I know some of you might be thinking, I'm not a coin expert, so how the heck would I know if I've got one of these quarters? Well, you don't have to be an expert right off the bat. But here's a trick: get yourself a good magnifying glass and start inspecting the coins. Just make sure you don't do what I did, spend hours staring at your coins and then realize you're holding a quarter that's been in the family for decades but has zero value. Trust me, that's a real bummer. Even if you don't find a $2.4 million coin in your collection tomorrow, it's still worth taking the time to check. Who knows? That random coin you've been carrying around could be worth way more than you think. And even if it's not a Harper's Ferry quarter, there are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting to be discovered. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's a treasure hunt that never ends. Before you go diving into your coin stash, though, I've got one last nugget of wisdom to share. Keep your collection in good shape, do your research, and always check those mint marks and designs. The more you know, the better your chances of stumbling upon the next big thing. Trust me, this game is all about timing and knowledge. So if you want more tips and tricks on finding valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss out on future videos where I dive into even more rare coins that could be worth a small fortune. And hey, if you're lucky enough to find one of these rare quarters, be sure to let me know. Maybe we'll celebrate your $1 million find together. Alright, fellas, picture this. You're flipping through your spare change, just looking for that next cup of coffee or something to put in the piggy bank. But what if, buried in that pile of pocket change, was a coin that's worth, wait for it, $2.5 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, grab a seat and hold onto your wallets, because today we're talking about the 2001 Kentucky quarter, and trust me, you don't want to miss this one. You might have one just sitting around in your change jar or that dusty drawer with the old coins you never really bothered to check. Well, let me tell you, there's a good chance the quarter could make you richer than your high school gym teacher ever dreamed. So stick around, because today's episode is gonna be one wild ride through the world of coin collecting, where I'll show you how one quarter is worth more than a brand new car, a luxury vacation, and possibly even a small island. Okay, maybe not an island, but you get the point. Let's get started. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty. This quarter wasn't supposed to be worth anything special. After all, it's just another state quarter, part of the 50-state quarter program that the U.S. Mint rolled out back in 1999. But here's the thing, that little P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint makes all the difference. You see, most of these Kentucky quarters were produced in massive quantities, just like your typical pocket change. But here's the kicker, a handful of these 2001 Kentucky quarters were minted with a unique error. Some of these coins were struck with a misaligned die or had an unusual quality issue during production. Long story short, not all 2001 Kentucky quarters were created equal. When you're talking about coins with errors, it's like finding a rare collectible trading card, but in coin form. These coins might look identical to the average person, but for someone with a trained eye and a bit of luck, a coin with a tiny flaw or a special characteristic can skyrocket in value. And this, my friends, is where things get interesting. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but $2.5 million for a quarter? How in the world is that possible? Well, here's the deal. As coin collectors, we're constantly looking for those unique, hard-to-find pieces that make a collection valuable. The 2001 Kentucky quarter is one of those rare pieces that has stood out in the coin community. The errors are so rare, in fact, that a handful of these bad boys have been sold for upwards of $2.5 million at auctions. Let me take you back a few years. I was at a coin show just casually walking around with a buddy of mine. We were both into coins, but we weren't exactly hunting for $1 million pieces. We were more like, hey, that one looks cool, maybe it'll be worth something someday. Anyway, we're chatting with this older guy who's got a table full of state quarters. He's got the usual stuff, nothing out of the ordinary. But then he pulls out this Kentucky quarter, and let me tell you, it looked like any other quarter I'd seen before. I didn't think much of it, but my buddy, who's got a good eye for rare coins, was immediately like, wait a minute. That's not just any Kentucky quarter. The guy behind the table gives us a knowing smile, and it turns out that he had a whole stack of these rare 2001 Kentucky quarters with that elusive minting error. My buddy had heard rumors about these rare coins, but hadn't seen one in person yet. Long story short, we both walked away from that coin show with a lot more knowledge and a new level of respect for those tiny little details on the coins we all overlook. That experience made me realize something. Coin collecting isn't just about owning coins. It's about knowing the stories behind them, understanding the mistakes, and, of course, spotting those rare treasures that can turn your life around. The value of the 2001 Kentucky quarter today. So let's talk money. Right now, these 2001 Kentucky quarters are fetching around $2.5 million at auctions. But don't just go running to your piggy bank and pulling out your entire quarter collection. Most of us won't find a mint error coin that's worth millions. But the real takeaway here is that the coin collecting world is full of surprises, and if you know where to look, you could end up with something that changes your financial future. It's not just about Kentucky quarters. The coin market is constantly shifting, and there are other state quarters and rare coins that could be worth a fortune if you know where to look and how to spot the right ones. That's why I'm here, to help you avoid missing out on the goldmine in your own wallet. The 2001 Kentucky quarter isn't just a piece of pocket change. With the right error and a little bit of luck, it could be worth a mind-blowing $2.5 million. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't have one of those in my coin jar, don't worry, this is just one example of how the world of coins can surprise you. If there's one thing you take away from this video, it's that coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It's a treasure hunt. The right coin, the right error, and the right timing can make you a fortune. It's like finding a golden ticket in your candy bar, except instead of candy, you're holding onto a rare, valuable piece of history. And if you're ready to dive deeper into the world of coin collecting, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm constantly dropping new tips, tricks, and strategies for spotting coins worth serious cash, and trust me, you won't want to miss out. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another coin tip that could change your life. And hey, next time you're digging through your change, take a second to really look at those quarters. You never know, your next lucky find could be worth millions. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. What if I told you that a seemingly ordinary 1990 Washington quarter could be worth an astonishing $2.6 million today? Yeah, I know you're probably thinking, that's just a regular quarter, right? Well, you're about to find out that not all quarters are created equal. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on learning how to spot this hidden treasure. Quarters are usually the least exciting part of coin collections. You probably toss them into your pocket, maybe use them for parking meters or vending machines. But today, we're diving into a specific quarter that could change your perspective forever. So, stick around, because if you've ever wondered about turning spare change into serious cash, this is the video you don't want to skip. Alright, let's set the scene. You're at home, probably just finished watching your favorite show, and you pull out your change from your pocket. You're casually sorting through it, and bam, you find a 1990 Washington quarter. You've seen this coin a million times, right? It's got George Washington's face on it, and the date is staring you in the face. Normally, that quarter would be worth face value 25 cents. But not today, my friend. Not if it's the right one. You see, this 1990 Washington quarter is one of those coins that doesn't make the headlines every day. But when it does, it's big. The market value of this quarter is sitting pretty at $2.6 million. Yep, I said it, $2.6 million. Let that sink in for a second. Why is it suddenly worth more than your car, your house, or maybe even your entire retirement fund? Well, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. First off, let's talk about its rarity. In 1990, the U.S. Mint produced millions of quarters, but only a small number of them were struck with a certain set of characteristics that make them valuable today. It's all about the minting process, where even the slightest error or variation can make a huge difference in the value of a coin. And guess what? Some of these 1990 quarters were struck with a slight die error or were made with metal that wasn't quite up to par, leading to unique characteristics that make them stand out. How am I supposed to tell if my 1990 quarter is one of these rare ones? Well, that's where things get fun. These coins were minted with a high level of detail, so they're usually in great shape if you find one in circulation. The ones worth big money are the ones that were well preserved, uncirculated, and didn't get too banged up. So, check for any signs of wear and tear. The key to spotting a 1990 Washington quarter worth millions lies in the mint mark. The P stands for Philadelphia, and it's important because quarters minted in Philadelphia, especially those from this year, can sometimes hide a little treasure beneath their shiny surface. Look for those coins that have the best definition and minimal damage. You've probably heard the term coin grading thrown around, but do you know how it affects value? Well, for a coin like the 1990 Washington quarter, its grade can make or break its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. To get a quarter worth $2.6 million, you're looking at a coin with a grade of 65 or higher. So, if you happen to find one that's practically flawless, it might be time to get it professionally graded. Now, I've got to share something personal here. Back when I first started getting into coin collecting, I was the guy who didn't really know the difference between a rare quarter and one that was just, well, a quarter. I remember buying a few old-looking quarters from a local dealer, just for fun. But one day, I stumbled across a quarter that looked almost exactly like the ones we're talking about here. I was excited, thinking I had found a gem. Turns out it was just an old quarter, not a rare one. But that moment lit a fire in me to learn everything I could about spotting valuable coins. Fast forward a few years, and here I am, sharing all this knowledge with you guys. And let me tell you, the feeling of finding something worth a lot of money in your own pocket is one of the coolest experiences ever. You can bet I was on the phone with my coin dealer that day, sending in that coin for grading. That excitement? I want you to feel that too. But it's not just about finding rare coins by chance. It's about learning the signs, knowing where to look, and building your collection strategically. And guess what? That's exactly what we're diving into here, helping you spot valuable coins like the 1990 Washington quarter that might just be hiding in your change jar. How can you increase your chances of finding one of these bad boys? Start by keeping an eye out for those quarters from 1990. Check the mint marks, inspect the quality, and don't be afraid to get a little geeky with the details. If you come across a well-preserved 1990 quarter, get it checked out. You never know, it could be your ticket to a big payday. Alright folks, before you go running off to dig through your coin jar, here's the deal. If you've learned anything from today, it's that the world of coins is full of surprises. Whether it's a rare 1990 Washington quarter or another hidden gem, there's always something to discover in your pocket change. But it's up to you to know what to look for. If you found today's video helpful and you want more tips on how to spot coins worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss out on future videos where we dive deep into the world of rare coins and strategies to help you build your collection. So, if you're ready to turn your spare change into something extraordinary, stick with me. I'll keep bringing you the best tips, tricks, and coin collecting wisdom, so you'll never miss a chance to find a coin worth millions. Hey guys, if you've ever found a coin lying around, just hanging out in your pocket or the back of your junk drawer, thinking it's worth nothing, I'm here to tell you, think again. I remember this one time I was going through some old change from a forgotten jar I found in my basement. You know the kind, right? Full of quarters, pennies, nickels, basically a small mountain of forgotten coins. I almost tossed it all in the donation bin, but I decided to give it one last look. I pulled out a 1993 Washington quarter, totally casual, not thinking much of it. But guys, let me tell you, it's worth more than just a couple of bucks. In fact, that little quarter could be worth a cool $2.7 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, grab a seat because today I'm about to break down the insane value of these bad boys and show you how to spot a gold mine in your pocket change. Alright, let's dive into the good stuff. The 1993 Washington $quarter coin, what makes it worth a fortune? At first glance, it's just like any other regular quarter you'd find in your change. I know, no flashy gold or rare metals. But let me hit you with a quick reality check. This isn't just any quarter. It's the 1993 D with a mint mark D standing for Denver. Now, you're probably wondering, why the heck is a regular quarter from 1993 worth millions? Here's where things get interesting. In the world of coin collecting, condition is key, but there's something even bigger going on with this one. Not every 1993 Washington quarter is a gold mine, but a select few, if they meet certain criteria, can bring in some serious cash. We're talking about a market value of $2.7 million for certain high-grade versions of this coin. It's all about rarity. See, the 1993 quarter is considered a low-mintage coin. It wasn't produced in large quantities like other years, and even more important, the coins that were minted didn't have the best quality control. A lot of these quarters have small defects, poor strikes, or just aren't in mint condition. But when you find one that was struck perfectly, no errors, no signs of wear, it can be worth a lot of money. Condition really does matter. A coin could be an absolute gem, but if it's been beat up by time or a bad washing machine experience, it won't fetch much more than face value. But if you happen to find a pristine, high-quality example, that's where the money's at. These coins are so rare, they're like hidden treasure waiting to be uncovered. Now, how do you know if yours is a winner? It's all about those fine details. Check for any signs of wear, corrosion, or scratches. Look for a strong strike. And here's where it gets a bit tricky, but if you can spot these subtle details, you could be holding onto a valuable piece of history. It's kinda like finding a needle in a haystack, but when you do, oh man, you won't believe the feeling. I went through a ton of coins, just like you might be doing right now. I even had a few 1993 D quarters. I thought they were just like the rest, and honestly, I almost passed on them. But something made me take a closer look. Maybe it was the way the light hit the coin or the excitement of knowing what I was looking for. I found a couple that were in incredible condition and had this nice, sharp strike. I'm telling you, I got that this might be worth something gut feeling. I did my homework, got it graded, and bam, I was sitting on a small fortune. It's not just about luck, though. It's about knowing what to look for, being patient, and understanding that coins like these don't just show up every day. The 1993 D Washington quarter is a reminder that hidden gems can be found in places you least expect, whether it's in your loose change jar, your grandma's old purse, or even that mystery bucket of coins your kids decided to borrow for their piggy banks. And let's not forget about the market for these coins. The coin collecting world is booming and rare coins are in high demand. So even if you're thinking, okay, I didn't find one this time, don't give up hope. Coins like the 1993 D Washington quarter may be hiding in plain sight. I'll say it again, keep your eyes peeled because you never know when you'll come across a $2.7 million coin. If you've got a 1993 D Washington quarter in your collection, or if you've ever had one and thought it wasn't worth much, go take another look. You might be sitting on a hidden treasure that's just waiting to make you a millionaire. Remember, it's all about knowing what to look for, checking those details, and being patient. That coin could be worth a small fortune, and I wouldn't want you to miss out. Now, before I wrap things up, I've got one final tip for you. If you love diving into the world of coin collecting and want to stay up to date on all the rare coins out there, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. I'm here to share more tips, tricks, and strategies on coins worth money, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on what's coming next. So go ahead, smash that subscribe button, and let's keep finding hidden treasures together. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Have you ever thought you might be holding onto a coin that's worth more than your car, maybe even your house? Well, grab that old jar of quarters you've been meaning to sort through, because today we're talking about the 1997 P. Washington quarter, a coin that could put a hefty sum in your pocket if you know what to look for. That's right, we're talking about a quarter worth a whopping $2.8 million. No, I'm not kidding, and I'm not trying to sell you some limited edition cereal box either. Stick around because this is going to be a good one. So let's get into it. The 1997 P. Washington quarter, you know, the one you've probably tossed in a jar and never thought twice about, could be hiding in your collection and be worth millions. Now, before you run off to find that dusty old jar or the stack of quarters in your drawer, let's break down why this particular quarter is so valuable and how you can spot one. The first thing you need to know is that the 1997 P quarter isn't just rare for being a 1997 coin, it's rare because of an error that's associated with it. These specific quarters were struck with an interesting variety of minting issues, which make them more valuable. We're talking about the potential for really high-quality coins. We're talking about collectors willing to pay upwards of $2.8 million for one in pristine condition. Pretty insane, right? Not all 1997 P quarters are worth this much. So, if you've got a coin from 1997 sitting around, it's not automatically worth millions. You've got to know what you're looking for. What makes a 1997 P worth such an impressive sum is the combination of the coin's condition, rarity, and, in some cases, a minting flaw that makes it stand out. Think about it like buying an old baseball card. Sure, they all look the same, but there's one that has an error like the wrong player's picture, and that card can be worth a fortune. Same idea here. But hold on a second, let me take you back to when I first stumbled upon my own wow moment with coins. Picture this, it was a lazy Saturday afternoon and I was at my local flea market. Nothing too exciting was going on. You know, just browsing through some old books, picking up random knickknacks. But then I spotted an old coin dealer's booth. You know, the kind where the tables are covered with piles of dusty coins. I walked over, expecting nothing more than a couple of dull pennies from the 1940s, but then I saw it, a shiny quarter glimmering among the rest. The dealer wasn't making a big deal out of it, and that's what caught my attention. I asked about it, and sure enough, it was a 1997 p quarter. After a little bit of back and forth, I found out that this quarter was worth quite a bit more than I thought. I was hooked from that moment. Fast forward to today, and I'm here to share all these cool tips with you so that you, too, can find that rare gem in your collection. If I had known back then what I know now, I'd have grabbed that coin in a heartbeat. But you know what they say, you win some, you lose some. Now, let's talk about how to find the jackpot. The first thing you'll need is a keen eye. The value of these coins really depends on the specific characteristics of the coin. First, you've got to make sure it's in mint condition. Coins with minimal wear and tear, those with a strong strike, and ones that shine are much more valuable. So, no throwing them into your pocket and letting them bounce around in your jeans. Keep them protected. Invest in coin holders or little plastic cases to keep them in great shape. Then, of course, there's the error factor. Some of these 1997 p quarters were struck with irregularities. This might sound a little technical, but we're talking about things like double dies or off-center strikes. When you examine the coin closely, you might see these little flaws that set it apart from a regular quarter. A quick Google search or a trip to a coin expert can help you identify these specific errors. You know, this whole thing reminds me of an old saying, the good stuff is often hidden in plain sight. Many people overlook coins like this because they just don't know what to look for. And trust me, I get it. We all get busy and don't pay attention to the little details. But once you realize how valuable a seemingly ordinary quarter can be, you'll never look at your change the same way again. Timing is everything. While the 1997 p Washington quarter might be worth millions now, its value could increase even more as time passes. You'll want to hold onto your rare coins for a while, at least until they become a little more appreciated by collectors. And who knows, maybe you'll even be the lucky one to cash in on a coin that turns out to be the next big thing in the coin world. Alright, let's wrap this up. If you've got a 1997 p Washington quarter, don't just toss it aside. You might be holding on to something that could be worth a small fortune. Remember, the key is to keep your coins in mint condition, know what to look for in terms of errors, and most importantly, keep an eye out for those rare and valuable ones that make coin collecting so exciting. I hope today's video gave you some valuable tips and maybe even inspired you to start looking through your change a little more carefully. Trust me, there's nothing like the thrill of discovering a rare coin that's worth way more than you imagine. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning about coins worth big money, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll be bringing you more tips, tricks, and stories from the world of coin collecting. Who knows, maybe you'll be the next coin millionaire. Hey, coin enthusiasts! Grab your magnifying glass and hold onto your wallets because today we're diving into something that could make you $2.9 million richer. Yes, you heard me right. Now, I know that sounds like one of those too good to be true stories, but trust me, the 2020 p National Park quarter is a game changer in the world of rare coins. But before you start scouring your change jar like a detective looking for clues, let me tell you, not all 2020 p quarters are worth a fortune. You need to know what makes these coins so special and how to spot one that could be worth nearly $3 million. So stick around, because by the end of this video you'll have some coin hunting knowledge that could make you the next big thing in the coin collecting world. And who knows? You might even find your own 2020 p quarter worth millions. Alright, let's get into it. First, let me paint you a picture. You're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a pile of quarters from your change jar. You're just looking for some random loose change, but then boom, you spot a 2020 p National Park quarter. It's got that crisp shine, the familiar design, but something's different. You take a closer look and hold on a minute. This could be the jackpot. You know, I've been in this game for a while, and I've seen some pretty valuable coins, but nothing quite like this one. It's like finding the hidden treasure in the back of your junk drawer. Trust me, I've been there. One day, I was going through my own coin collection expecting nothing more than the usual pennies and nickels when I stumbled across a 2020 P National Park quarter that I had completely forgotten about. I gave it the old double check, and sure enough, it wasn't just any quarter. It was one of the rare ones that could potentially be worth a small fortune. So, what makes the 2020 P National Park quarter worth so much? First, let's talk about the coin itself. It's part of the America the Beautiful series, which features different national parks on the reverse side. For 2020, the coin highlights the Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve in the U.S. Virgin Islands. But here's the kicker: the 2020 P quarter was produced with an error that made it exceptionally rare. The P mint mark on these coins means they were minted in Philadelphia, but there was an issue with the minting process. And some of the quarters came out with a very unique flaw. That flaw is what makes these coins so valuable today. If you find a 2020 P with that error, you're holding on to a coin that could be worth up to $2.9 million. And trust me, it's not just about the rarity of the error, it's also about the timing. Collectors went absolutely crazy when they realized how rare these quarters were, and that demand drove up the price. Now, before you start thinking that every 2020 P National Park quarter is worth millions, let's clear something up. Not all of them are rare. It's all about the error. You need to find one that has the minting flaw, which isn't easy. But here's the thing. Even if you don't find the golden ticket, these quarters are still worth more than the average pocket change you're used to give you an idea of just how rare these coins are. Think about it like this. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Imagine you're sifting through a sea of quarters, each one looking identical, but with a little patience and the right eye, you might just uncover a hidden treasure. It's like fishing. Some days, you catch nothing. But the day you catch that big one, it's worth the wait. Look for the P mint mark. If you don't see it, it's not a 2020 P, and you can skip this one. The error on these quarters can be a subtle thing. Sometimes it's a misstrike, sometimes it's a design flaw. Either way, it's not easy to spot unless you really know what you're looking for. The better the condition, the more valuable the coin. A shiny, well-preserved coin is worth a lot more than a worn-out, scratched-up one. If you're serious about finding this coin, you've got to be patient and persistent. Sort through your change regularly, hit up coin rolls from the bank, and keep an eye out on online auction sites where people sell rare coins. Sometimes, the best finds come when you least expect them. Alright, folks, I'm gonna wrap this up, but here's the deal. The 2020 P National Park quarter is a gem in the world of coin collecting. And if you're lucky enough to find one with the minting error, you could be looking at a cool $2.9 million. But even if you don't find the big winner, these quarters are still worth more than the average coin in your pocket. Coin hunting is an adventure. Whether you find something worth millions or just a few extra bucks, the thrill of the hunt is what makes it fun. And honestly, I've had my fair share of misses, but I wouldn't trade those moments for anything. I've learned a ton along the way, and now, so have you. So, before you head off to search your change jar, I know you're itching to do it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can get more tips, tricks, and stories about coins that could make you rich. You don't want to miss out on the next hidden treasure. Keep hunting, keep learning, and as always, stay curious, my friends. Hey, folks! Imagine waking up tomorrow, checking your wallet, and discovering a coin that's worth $3 million. Sounds like something out of a dream, right? But trust me, it's more of a reality than you'd think, especially if you've got a 2000 P South Carolina quarter dollar hanging around. Yep, I said it, a quarter that could make you a millionaire. Stick around, because today we're diving deep into why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you might just strike it rich with a few quarters lying around. Alright, let's break this down. We're talking about the 2000 P South Carolina quarter dollar minted in Philadelphia. Now, I know what you're thinking. A quarter? That's worth $3 million? Really? It's true, my friend. The 2000 P South Carolina quarter, in mint condition, could fetch an incredible $3 million on the market today. And it's not just any quarter, it's a limited edition, part of the 50-state quarter series, which is a huge deal for collectors. Back in 2000, the U.S. Mint released these quarters as part of a series celebrating each state. But unlike some of the other state quarters, South Carolina's coin got a bit of attention for a couple of specific reasons that set it apart. First, you've got the design, which features a beautiful rendition of the palmetto tree and a crescent moon, symbols of South Carolina. But here's the kicker, there was a small run of these coins that were misstruck. Some of them didn't have the typical minting errors that are easy to spot, like a double die or a poorly aligned strike. No, these ones had something even more interesting. You see, there's a particular flaw on the 2000 South Carolina quarter where some of the coins were minted with a slight off-center image. This small defect, combined with the historical importance of the 50-state quarters series, turned these coins into rare collectibles. When I first heard about these coins, I thought it was a joke. I mean, a quarter worth $3 million? But once I did the research and saw the crazy demand, I couldn't help but kick myself. Back in the day, I used to collect coins just like everyone else, thinking I had all these cool finds, and I know now that I probably missed a few hidden treasures that could have made me a pretty penny. Seriously though, every time I come across a 2000 South Carolina quarter now, I give it a second glance. You just never know. Now let's talk about how you can spot these rare quarters. First, look for the obvious, the 2000 mint mark. That's your first clue that you've got the right year and mint. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins, due to the minting flaw, may have an off-center design or other slight irregularities. If you've got one with a noticeable error, you could be looking at something worth a whole lot more than just 25 cents. It's not just the off-center error that makes these coins valuable, though. The 2000 South Carolina quarter is one of the hardest ones to find in pristine condition. It was released into circulation just like every other coin, so finding one in mint state is a bit like finding a needle in a haystack. The less wear and tear on the coin, the higher its value. That's why if you happen to stumble upon one in your coin jar or wallet, check for any signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration. The more minty fresh, the better, but don't get discouraged if you don't find one of these rarities in your pocket change just yet. The key takeaway here is that you can still find valuable coins hiding in plain sight, whether it's a 2000 South Carolina quarter or something else entirely. The market for rare coins is constantly evolving, and if you've got an eye for it, you can build up a collection of your own that could one day be worth a fortune. Now, if you want to get serious about this whole coin collecting thing, here's what I suggest. Start learning the basics. Get yourself a good coin book or guide. The more you know about the different types of errors, mint marks, and rare coins, the more likely you are to spot hidden gems. It's like fishing, you don't catch a big one without some knowledge of the waters you're fishing in. And if you want to get really ahead of the game, start hitting up your local coin shops or looking for estate sales where people may be unloading their coin collections. You just never know what might be sitting in someone's attic. Don't just take my word for it. Go ahead and research these rare coins yourself. You'll be amazed at what some collectors have been able to score with just a little bit of effort. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme though, wouldn't that be nice? But it's definitely a chance to get ahead and possibly find something that could change your financial future. The 2000 South Carolina quarter dollar. It's a coin that, thanks to its rarity and the unique minting errors, could land you a cool $3 million if you're lucky enough to find one in great condition. But even if you don't, keep your eyes open. Coin collecting isn't just about the potential for a huge payoff, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the history, and maybe even a few personal treasures that you can pass down through generations. If you've learned something today, or if you're just as excited as I am about the possibility of striking gold with some old change, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll get more tips on coins worth money, coin collecting strategies, and all kinds of fun facts that'll make you the go-to-coin expert among your friends. Who knows? The next time you grab a handful of coins, one of them could be the next big thing. So go ahead, give that subscribe button a click, and don't forget to leave a comment if you've got a rare coin hiding around your house or if you've ever had a lucky find yourself. We're diving into something that might just make your jaw drop. The 2000 mint mark Fredericksburg quarter. It's got a crazy market value of $3.1 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A coin that's probably sitting in your collection right now could be worth a small fortune. So grab your magnifying glass, dust off your change jar, and let's see if you've got a hidden treasure on your hands. Before we dive in, let me hit you with a quick story. Back when I first started collecting coins, I thought a rare coin was just something you found in a grandmother's old jar of pennies. I mean, who knew a quarter from 2000 could be worth that much? And that's when it hit me. Collecting coins isn't just a hobby. It's a way to unlock a potential gold mine. And today, I'm going to tell you why that Fredericksburg quarter is one of the top-tier coins you'll want to keep an eye out for. Now, make sure you stick around for the whole video because I've got some strategies to share on how you can find, buy, and maybe even sell these rare gems. Plus, I'll be talking about how to spot these valuable coins without needing a professional appraisal. You don't need a PhD to get this right. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tips on coins worth money. Trust me, you'll want to stick around because this is just the beginning. Alright, let's jump in. So what makes the 2000p Fredericksburg quarter so special? I mean, it's just a regular quarter, right? Wrong. The coin was minted in 2000 as part of the state quarter series, but it's the P mint mark that adds that sweet, sweet value. You see, the US Mint produced these quarters to celebrate different states, and the Fredericksburg design was chosen to represent Virginia. The design shows a picture of the historic Fredericksburg battlefield, a location with deep roots in American history. Pretty cool, right? But what makes this coin rare isn't just the history behind it. It's how few of these babies actually made it into circulation. In fact, these coins were minted in much smaller quantities than other state quarters, which gives them that extra boost in value. Only a few were ever released to the public, and even fewer made it out in good condition, which is why they're so coveted today. A mint condition 2000p Fredericksburg quarter can fetch up to $3.1 million at auction. Yeah, you heard me right. So, if you've been tossing around quarters without giving them a second glance, now might be the time to start rethinking that change jar strategy. How to spot a 2000p Fredericksburg quarter now that you know how valuable this coin is? How do you spot it? It's not like you can just run into a coin that's worth millions every day, right? Actually, you might be closer to finding one than you think. Here's what you need to keep an eye out for. Check the mint mark. It's a P located just under the date on the front of the coin. This is the key that differentiates it from other quarters in the same series. Like with any rare coin, condition matters. A coin that's been through a few too many laundromats or has been tossed in your pocket for years probably won't be worth much. But if the coin is in mint condition, meaning it has no major scratches, dings, or discoloration, then you're looking at a potential goldmine. Look for those coins that stand out from the crowd. A lot of these quarters were produced, but only a select number made it into circulation in pristine condition. So if you find one that's particularly shiny, has a smooth surface, or looks like it was just freshly minted, you're in luck. Most quarters you find in circulation aren't going to be worth more than a couple of bucks. But the 2000p Fredericksburg quarter is different. Its rarity, combined with its historical significance, makes it highly sought after by collectors. And when you get something that people want badly enough, the price goes up. Way up. To put it into perspective, a few years ago, a 2000p Fredericksburg quarter was auctioned off for $3.1 million. Now, you might be wondering, how do I get my hands on one of these bad boys? Well, you're in luck. I've got a few tips on how to increase your chances. Like I mentioned earlier, you might already have one in your pocket. Keep your eyes peeled and take a look at any quarters that come your way. You never know when you might get lucky. Sometimes the best finds happen when you least expect it. Check out local estate sales, garage sales, and even online auctions. And if you're feeling brave, pop into a local coin shop and see if anyone has a 2000p Fredericksburg quarter for sale. But remember, condition is key. To really spot the rare coins, invest in a good magnifying glass and a coin grade guide. Trust me, a $10 magnifying glass could save you from tossing out a fortune. And hey, even if you don't find one of these quarters right away, don't sweat it. Keep learning, keep hunting, and you'll be amazed at how many treasures are out there waiting for you. But here's the real takeaway. Coin collecting is about more than just finding rare coins. It's about enjoying the hunt, learning about history, and yes, maybe even turning a profit. So start your journey today, and remember, the next time you're sifting through your change jar, it could be the start of something big.so. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips, strategies, and stories about coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, there's a whole lot more where this came from.